How's it going? Today we're going to be doing a water pump on this Rav4. Just let you guys hear what it sounds like. So that gravelly sound's coming from the water pump. So we're going to go ahead and replace that water pump. So to start with doing the water pump on this Rav, we're going to get the drive belt off and we'll move this coolant reservoir out by this 10 and this 10. You'll just move this out of the way. You don't have to undo these hoses. And then right down there is your tensioner. So you'll pull that to get your belt off. So one trick for getting this water pump out, your water pump is right here. Normally you take your alternator out, you take your 14 and your 12 down there, take your alternator out all the way, and then take your tensioner out by that center bolt right there. I'm going to show you guys how to just take the bottom 12 out of this alternator and then just crack this 14 loose so you can pivot this alternator up and then you can get the water pump out. You only have to get the alternator out the way just enough so the pump will clear out between the frame rail and the alternator through here. So now that you got the tensioner out of the way and the alternator loose so you can pivot it up, now you want to get all the 12s that go in the water pump. And before you do that, put a coolant catch underneath because it'll start to leak coolant. I didn't drain any of the coolant out of the radiator. When I take the water pump out, I let it just come out where the water pump is. Then I wash it all off. It doesn't seem to make too bad of a mess just doing it that way, as long as you have a coolant catch underneath it. I like to start with the bottom bolts on the water pump. That way when the coolant starts to come out, you're not trying to fight the bolts on the bottom, because when the coolant gets on the bolts it makes them kind of slick. So always take out your bottom 3 bolts first and then do the top ones after you get the bottom ones out. So I just kind of let the coolant run out. I leave that very top bolt in the water pump just loose, so it kind of holds the pump there. And as you can see, like the coolant's just running down on that skid shield and then going into my coolant catch. And just let it drain out a little bit, and then you can take that top bolt out and pull the water pump out. After you get the water pump out, just double check the block surface, make sure there's no gasket material left on there. These come with a metal gasket, but sometimes the paint film on them will peel off, so just make sure that's not stuck to the block. So inside the box, you'll get the new water pump, and the gasket will come attached with this rubber band right here. I'm going to try to show you what this looks like. The bearing on this one's wore out. I'll see if I can get a good video of it. Is not supposed to have that slop in that bearing. So I'm going to reinstall this water pump with the gasket. I found it's easiest to keep the gasket in the line is when you get it in past the alternator, make sure you get a bolt put in here just like that, and it'll hold the gasket there so it's not falling down. And then we'll just start all the bolts and then we can torque them all down. After getting all the water pump bolts back in, I like to take like a jug of water and just dump it down over all these pulleys, get all the coolant washed off. So when I go to put the belt on, it won't absorb that coolant and start squeaking. A helpful tip is to get these belts on. Sometimes it's hard to get your wrench on that and get enough leverage on it to get enough so the belt can get all the way around. So what I like to do is take a pry bar in here, right between there, and then push on it a little bit, and then put my wrench on it, and then that little bit will help ease to get the belt on. Alright, so you can hear that the noise is gone. So I think we fixed this one. Alright, so we got the water pump installed. Burping the coolant system. This is like a little self-burper. Just leave the cap off for like 20 minutes and just make sure your coolant level stays above the low mark. Just add it every once in a while until it's constantly staying above there. And you'll start seeing the coolant run through right here. And that's how you know it's fully circulating. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.